Hello and welcome. My name is Trismegistus, and in today's stream we're going to do something slightly different in that we're going to start off by looking at the Factorio Friday Facts. Last one I did of these, they teased the new enemies for the new expansion. We all speculated about what the expansion was going to be. Right then, so Friday Facts 372 2022 recap. Hello, another year has come and gone. We know this year we were very sparse with only details about the expansion, and it is what you all really want to hear about. Trust me, we really want to tell you about it, and in time we will. There are still some major sections of the gameplay being changed and adjusted, and if we tell you about them now, the information would quickly become outdated and inaccurate. For now, we can offer this Christmas postcard Albert has made, which has a sneak peek of some of the new icons. So I'll come back to this. I'll run through what I think some of these might be. Some of them, well, one of them I think is obvious, or possibly obvious. The others, open speculation. The third one seems to be a lot of different ideas what it might be, but so I'll come back to that one. As well, we do have some other topics we can discuss. The next major one is the sales update. This year we have reached another sales milestone with 3.5 million sales being passed this Christmas. We are still having steady and consistent sales of about 500,000 each year, which in retrospect validates the original no-sale policy we have stuck with since we launched on Steam in 2016. So no-sale policy is just a policy that they don't do sales, basically, so it's always been at the same price. It hasn't. They have actually increased it when it came out of early access, but yeah, it's basically it's a consistent price. So Switch sales. The Nintendo Switch launch went well. So far we've sold over 40,000 copies, which is around what I expected. It looks to be extremely popular in Japan, which we're close to 40% of Switch sales from there. Since launch I have been mostly focused on resolving bugs and crashes. Now I'm working on some small improvements to free cursor and car driving, which will be released soon. Bringing controller support to PC and Steam Deck, and full keyboard and mouse support for Nintendo Switch will be next. It takes time as it's just me focusing on this, so I appreciate the patience. So the sales there, I mean, that's pretty impressive numbers, I think, for a sort of indie game. I know something like Stardew Valley, I think, is one of the biggest selling indies of recent years, but it certainly puts it up there. 3.5 million is a lot of sales, and I mean, even if you do the maths on the numbers, using the old price that it was in early access of $15, $15 I think it was. That's 35 million, half as much again, so what's that, 50 million in sales presumably, and I say they've never done a sale, it's never been cheaper than that price, so that's a lot of cash. It's obviously been it's been being developed since, was it 2014 or something, so if you sort of divide it up by that, it's not quite as much per year. but yeah, it's pretty expensive numbers. Switch sales then, yes. So I'm a bit surprised that's so low actually, 40,000. Obviously Switch is like one of the best selling consoles, so that seems quite a low number. But then I suppose you are talking, a niche type of game. So the Mod Portal recap, this is, first bit's a little bit, first bit's interesting. And the next bit I'll just read through because I don't think it's all that interesting. But anyway, so Mod Portal recap 2022. There are only two hard things in computer science: cache, invalidation, naming things, and counting stuff. So when I joined Woob as a operations developer in 2021, one of my first tasks was to prevent people from artificially inflating mod download counts by senselessly smashing the download button. I think one of the reasons they've done that, it's sort of a weird thing to say, but I think it's because a lot of people sort by popularity of downloads, so the number of downloads, and then pick mods they're going to play based on those number of downloads. So I think that's what they're referring to there. They don't sort of explain it though. This meant keeping an inventory of which mods users downloaded. This not only helped combat download count inflation, but it also enabled the creation of the Downloads tab in each user's personal mod portal library, as well as providing more detailed download metrics for every mod. It also made a brand new feature possible, the 2022 Mod Portal Recap. So we'll click on Visit Your Personal Recap page now to see some stats on your and everyone else's Mod Portal activity this year. So one of the things I've noticed about this, so this is my things. I have quite a lot of mods downloaded. I only play certain mods at certain times. But what they mean by downloads, and this is one of the things I think, because I've got Space Exploration downloaded. I have never played it though. and yet it says it's one of my most downloaded. And what it is, I think it's every time there's an update, everyone has to download the update. So it's sort of not inflating it because people are faking the numbers, but obviously SpaceX has had quite a lot of updates this year because it went into, a next big version. But say if they do a little update, they fix a bug or something, then it counts in this list. So, Crash Warrior 2 I played last year, but SpaceX I haven't actually played yet. It's on my list to play. In 2022, there were 638,886 players who downloaded 41,244,805 mods. So this is counting all the times the download button for a mod was clicked in 2022. And I don't think it's quite that. I think it's if there was an update, then it counts as well. If we sum the unique user count for each mod in 2022, we get 25,145,748 downloads. What's the more informative number? I don't know. Counting stuff is hard, right? So this is their point about what stat do you go with. 1,686 new mods and 7,227 mod updates. And as I say, I think that is being counted in the stats, which is why it's not quite what it seems. 1,221 active mod creators supported by 103 collaborators. With all the extra usage statistics, we can also do some interesting comparisons. So these two charts, the numbers might be a bit small, so I'll just say them. So users grouped by number of mods downloaded. So the top number here, 1 to 9, 10 to 49, 50 to 99, 100 plus. This is the number of mods that people have got downloaded. And so as you can see, 1 to 9 is 30% of the player base. I'm not sure if this is, if you've got no mods downloaded, I assume you just don't count in this chart. There'd be an extra pie for a 0. But then 44.4%, so almost half of players have got between 10 and 49 mods downloaded. 50 to 99 is 16.4, and 100 plus is 8.6%. So remarkably, nearly 10% of players, or certainly users on this list, have got over 100 mods downloaded. The second chart then is mods grouped by number of downloads. So we've got 0 to 19, 20 to 99, 100 to 499, 500 to nearly 2,000, 2,000 to 50,000, and 50,000 plus. So as you can see, the pies are 7% on the first lot, 30% in that 20 to 99, 18% in that 100 to 500, 500 to 2,000 is 19.5%, and then, between them, more than 2,000 is about a quarter of the chart. We are very thankful to our extraordinary modding community for keeping many engineers busy while waiting for the expansion. In addition to creating great mods, they also provide modding tutorials and tools for mod development, such as IDE integrations and automation tooling. So IDE is Integrated Development Environment. So basically a very easy way of producing mods. So it's mods supporting mods. Mod Portal Changelog 2022. This year started with a big CDN migration for all web assets, including mods. Today, just the mods data CDN alone is delivering more than 1 terabyte of downloads a day. That's pretty impressive. Then the Mod Portal gained some new public HTTP APIs for editing mod details, publishing new releases, etc. We also did some significant behind-the-scenes work by consolidating all Factorio web services into one glorious mono repo. To guide future Mod Portal developments, the Mod Portal survey was released in June and July. And in July, we published results on our forums. 2 of the most requested features were bookmarking and a rework of the mod categories. The Mod Portal and Factorio both gained the bookmarking feature after the summer holidays, shortly followed by a rework of the top right navigation and introduction of the personal library showing recent downloads, bookmarks and collaborations. And guided by community feedback on our forums, the new mod categories and tags launched in December. This wraps up 1 year of Mod Portal changes, and we're happy to continue this in 2023. We'd also like to read your thoughts and feedback on the forums. We are looking forward to the next year, and while we can't promise anything, we hope there will be lots of Factorio news for all of you to be excited about. As always, let us know what you think at the usual places, and we wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. So I'm not sure does this work on here? Yeah, there we go. Take us back up to the top. I did think it'd be worth just taking a look at the teaser image. I think a lot of people have speculated about what some of these are, and I kind of agree with the sort of group thoughts. Obviously, you've got the two biters here. There don't look to be any differences. I can't see. This isn't like a sneaky teaser for new enemies that I can tell. These appear to just be the blue biters. So, it's not like they're not purple or something hinting at that there's going to be a new level of biters or something like that. But they just look like the standard biters to me. Obviously, you've got a Christmas paraphernalia, and it's really these three machines here. Now they do say, or did it say, or people just assume that? Yeah, so sneak peek of some of the new item icons. So the item icons are obviously the ones that appear. So when you're doing the research and you're on the the research list, those are sort of the icons that it shows. Although I think actually item icons are the ones in your inventory, and sometimes they aren't quite the same. I think that's what that's referring to. But yeah, so you've got the two icons, like the research ones and the actual inventory icons. Obviously these are the 3D models, so they're not the actual flat pictures. So we can't really infer size from these. These could, the icon for a speed module, which we know is tiny, is disproportionately. It's not scaled to something like the rocket launcher, which is the biggest sort of item in the game. So we can't really tell the size of these icons or the actual items they're representing by the icons. This blue one looks to be the biggest, but it is closest, and the other two look to be about the same size. But so it could mean nothing. But all three of them, well, these two certainly look like machines. They look like new assemblers of some description, or item processing things. Or buildings in the game. This other one, I'm not so sure about that. It could well be another building. It could also be, entirely speculatively. But if the general speculation that we're going into the sea, we're going to start exploiting the water, this could be something that attaches to the power armor. So, because it looks, if you look at it, like it's got some kind of vacuum system on it. But of course that could also mean a processing machine. You can have a vacuum produced item. But as I say, to me it looks like it could be something you attach to, say, the power armor or something like that. It's a new helmet effectively that could take us underwater. Or say easily it could be a new machine. This one here to me looks like a new type of smelter basically. So I don't quite know why we're now pouring liquid metal. That's an interesting change to the game. Obviously, you've got in the Bobs, I'm about to play sort of thing. There are. Oh no, it's not in Bobs. It's in Angels, I think, isn't it? Where there's new types of smelting where you produce liquid metals, basically, and that's what this looks like. What's particularly interesting about that as a possible possible, item they're adding is they did say that the new expansion would be entirely compatible with the existing base game. So why would we would now be you obviously take iron and turn it into steel. So the implication then is you're going to take steel and iron maybe, or maybe add coal into it or something and make something else. But what that something else would be, I don't know. Because if they added something like aluminium, I suppose it depends on how they did it, because if you had an existing save file and you wanted to play the expansion on, so you've got your existing base, and they suddenly add in bauxite for aluminium processing, how is it going to handle that? Because if you've ever turned RSO on in a mid game, as it were, you get this like weird dividing line between the old generation and the new generation. It doesn't regenerate the old map. So where would these, bauxite patches appear if that was how it was doing? The other option, of course, it could be at sea. So you could be mining some kind of mineral resource at sea, and then it has to be, brought to land, and that could be more easily done. You just find patches at sea and adds on some new resource. That would be a bit weird. You would expect oil to be at sea rather than sort of a metal. But yeah, so it's interesting how that will actually work. But the implications say it's reprocessing existing materials to get a new material. This one, I've seen a couple of ideas on this. To me, I don't really know. I mean, obviously it's got the electricity on it, so it looks like a power thing. But people have said this looks like a stator winding machine. Why we would have that now, and stator's being part of an electric motor if you're not aware, but why we would suddenly get a stator winder when we've already got electric engines. I mean, they are made in a weird way where you just take a standard engine and sort of shove lube into them and suddenly that's an electric engine. But, why we would suddenly get, an electric motor when we've already got an electric motor, I don't know. It does look a bit like a capacitor, basically, where you have the two plates. So my thought was it's maybe a new type of electric generator, or maybe a booster, or perhaps maybe it's a wide area beacon, something like that. And this is, the electric arc, because the existing beacon has the electric arcs on it. So this could be like the super beacon, which covers a much wider area. And that would be how they would get around. So rather than introduce new modules, instead you get the super beacon, which allows you to put more effects onto the same machine. But yeah, so those are my sort of speculations of what they were. If you're watching this on the YouTube, thanks for taking a look. I say I would be interested to know your thoughts, if you've got any, as to what these hints are and what the expansion is going to be. If you've been watching, I hope you've enjoyed it and you might consider coming back for another one. I've been Trismegistus. This has been Factorio. Thanks for watching. Cheers.